Hey guys, good morning. So we got the news from GE that BAP confronted Boto, Felipe, Luiz, and the players, and Flamengo is trying to manage this environment before the big match. News that came out on Globo Esporte says that the pressure for poor performances is now part of daily life and increases the need for results in the Recopa. Obviously, we did some investigation to bring this information to you. We spoke with a source connected to the board who was at Ninho do Urubu on the day of the meeting. The news from GE says that last Saturday, President BAP was at Ninho do Urubu. On Friday, the delegation got a day off after returning from Argentina and at the training center. On Saturday, the executive had meetings with the coaching staff, football director Jose Boto, and the squad. The tone was one of strong demands after a disappointing start to the season, according to Globo Esporte. I wish that had happened the way it's being reported. I wish the demands had been firm, that there really had been a bit stronger demands, which I think should happen at this moment. Because we can't just make excuses for the situation Flamengo is in with such an expensive squad that can't play beautiful soccer. Yesterday, they won 3-0. It was Madureira. In the second half, they were a little better, but Flamengo still can't play good soccer, so the demands are necessary. The information I got from this source I consulted, who was at Ninho do Urubu, told me the following, that meetings with BP are normal. Every 7 or 10 days, he goes there, talks to everyone. There's really nothing special about it. Nothing too unusual, okay? And that BAP's conversation with the squad mainly was much more about giving them confidence and saying he believed they could turn things around than about being harsh or demanding, okay? There was obviously a meeting with Boto and Felipe Luiz, which also usually happens. And obviously, in that meeting, BAP wanted to understand how things would go from there, how this problem would be stopped, right? How could Flamengo improve? So I believe that, even though people say it wasn't. In a firm, maybe even exaggerated tone, there was indeed some pressure with Felipe Luiz and with Jose Boto, but that's normal whether you win or lose to know what's going on. But BAP was present, and he has to be present. It's important for the president to be following everything that's happening at the training center and to be in contact. But with the players, he gave them this confidence, and Flamengo has this chance to turn things around. Starting with the Recopa title on Thursday, it's extremely important to become champions. But look, the Globo Esporte article also has important information, which is a general understanding within the board that invested heavily, managed to keep the squad together, and the results should be better. Flamengo lost the Super Cup, is at risk of losing the Recopa because they lost the first match, and was at serious risk of being eliminated from the Carioca Championship. But the meetings with BAP are regular. The article itself talks about that. And what I was told is that there wasn't a tone of pressure, but rather of giving support, giving confidence to the players. In the meeting with Felipe and Boto, they tried to find ways to change the situation. The meetings also happen virtually. They take place about every 10 days, sometimes a little less, at Ninho do Urubu, okay? The conversations with the players are much less frequent. That's why there's the understanding from Globo Esporte that it was to apply pressure, but it was in a tone of giving confidence. Although we understand that when you're trying to give confidence, you're actually demanding things aren't going well. I'm here to give confidence, but it's because things aren't going well. According to Globo Esporte, the training center's atmosphere isn't what it once was. We know that. Some athletes believe there's a lack of communication. They feel uncomfortable with decisions made by the coaching staff. Look at that. Communication with the football management is also not very open, and this extends to athletes as well as other sectors of the club. What I found out is that there really are some dissatisfactions that even involve recent signings, which they are trying to resolve, internal group issues, but some things are really happening. President Paparazzo Rubro Negro was even involved in the negotiation for Lucas Paquetá. I told you that he was an important figure, not Felipe. In Felipe Luiz's contract renewal, he was also involved. I've already mentioned here that at a certain point, he was even looking at the name of another coach. He wasn't waiting for Felipe to make the decision. The process even caused some friction, according to GE itself, between the parties. And the coach even felt exposed at a certain point. So we know it's not the best atmosphere possible before the Recopa final. It's an atmosphere of pressure, yes, which is good. I think it has to be there. And I really expected that whenever there was a problem, there would be this kind of pressure. And it has to be there, even if it's like, oh, I'm showing confidence, but it's still pressure. And there's also a lot of talk about what happened in the stands. It's important for us to mention that during the goals against Madureira, we noticed the players celebrated in a very restrained way. The atmosphere isn't great, and there's also pressure coming from the fans, from the stands. Even before the match started, everyone was very tense. There's also the response at the box office, which is fine since 55,000 tickets have already been sold for Flamengo and Lanús. But yesterday there was a very small crowd, which is unusual for Flamengo. So Felipe even talked about the booze. We understand the players need support, but we can't ask for that. The players need to show it on the field. We're lacking support, let's say, but it's our own fault. It's hard to take action when you're in this kind of environment. Of course, there's no pressure like Flamengo's. I've never seen this anywhere else. Maybe Real Madrid is like that. The local pressure is incredible, but anyone who comes here knows that's how it is. I don't think the problem is too much criticism, but rather too much praise. When things are going well, look, that's an important point. Then, okay, you're put on such a pedestal that you're not prepared to fall. That happened to me in 2019 when I had an injury, but I turned it around. Every player has a process. Some turn things around quickly, some take longer, others can't do it, and it's up to each one to ask for help. Pressure is a privilege. We have a squad to fight for everything, and that's why the pressure is high. Felipe handled it very well, so yeah, Felipe did a great job. He also made it clear that he wants to use Lucas Paquetá as a forward, right? Both on the left side and on the right side, he wants to use Lucas Paquetá. We should see Lucas Paquetá playing more as a winger than as a defensive midfielder, even though a lot of people preferred him playing as a defensive midfielder. I myself preferred him playing as a defensive midfielder. But I think we have to be fair, right? Everton Araujo, by the way, I'm going to bring here what Luiz explains about the Vini Jr. situation and the mixed zone with Danilo and Everton Araujo. It's important for us to bring up Everton Araujo here, who's having a great moment, and we can't leave that out. Everton Araujo can't be left out of Flamengo right now. Everton Araujo needs to play. The academy grad is in a fantastic moment, and there has to be fairness, right? Today he earned his spot there next to Pulgar. So Paquetá can't play in Everton Araujo's position. And when Jorginho returns, he can't play just because of his name if Everton Araujo is performing well. And that's a problem. That's the problem for me. The real challenge at Flamengo is dealing with this vanity, right? This bonfire of the vanities. Let's check out the part where Felipe Luiz talks about Vini Jr. and the mixed zone after yesterday's game.
I would like to speak and clarify my words, which were widely misunderstood in the last press conference I gave. At no time was it my intention to minimize the case of racism or the racist act. Nor to disrespect the victim, in this case, quite the opposite. I stand with Vinicius. Flamengo, we stand with Vinicius. I have great affection and admiration for him, and I support him. I have no doubt about what I'm saying. I know that as a coach, my public stance generates a lot of expectations. And really, maybe I didn't explain myself clearly enough on the subject. I reject racism. I condemn racist acts. Racism is a crime. It's a crime. And as I said a day before to the media, a day before the game, If he did it, if the boy did this, it's not up to me to judge him. But if he did, he should pay, he should pay, he should pay heavily. Because coming here and talking, it's easy to make a t-shirt. No to racism, it's easy to wear a bracelet. Anti-racism, it's easy. All of that is very easy. What's hard is to punish, to punish. So if he did it, he should pay. Let that be very clear. Another thing I want to make very clear is the word maybe that I used about a specific case. In the question from your colleague, the isolated from your colleague, he asked, his question was, how was Flamengo treated during the visits they made to Argentina, right? And what I meant was that isolated case on the field, which was that incident that happened in that game. There are more cases. There are many more in Argentina, in Paraguay, in Spain, in England, in Brazil. There are many cases of racism in Brazil, and I love my country. There are cases of racism, homophobia, sexism, corruption, and all these problems. That doesn't mean I shouldn't love my country or that I can't like Argentina. I like it. I love Brazil. And let it be very clear, maybe I wanted to express myself about a specific case, the word maybe. And with that, because I'm sad and disappointed with everything that happened, because it wasn't easy for me to arrive after losing the game and go to my team with my responsibility for the performance, the way it played, and lose. It's not easy to come to a press conference, answer a question, and have everything be perfect. So therefore, I wanted to make that very clear to you. And say, once again, we stand with Vini, I stand with Vini. Flamengo always supports all of Vini's causes. And I just wanted to clarify that here before you can ask questions, because that's it. I was really quite sad about all the repercussions that happened. And you know me, the people who are here, know me well. But it's all right. I hope this has clarified my thoughts about this case, and let's move on. Let's go. Sorry. We arrived from the trip at around 9 in the morning, basically without sleep. The traffic we had until we got home was 2 hours of traffic. I got home, slept, woke up in the afternoon, and saw everything that was happening. I talked to Paiva, wrote a note, but obviously it's better to talk. I don't like recording videos on social media. I didn't know I would have this opportunity. I saw what happened, and Danilo called to explain the situation. I talked to the players, I talked to the captains, I talked to the players, I explained everything. Exactly what happened, what I explained to you. I have no problem at all explaining what happened. And it was very clear. Just as I always deal with issues with my players in a very clear and open way with them, they know my door is always open. But about any subject, any problem regarding this matter, they are also free to answer whatever they want to you, and I authorize you to ask them whatever you want. Also, because it's a topic that's completely open and one in which I support Vini, just reminding you once again.
And then in the game against Sampaio Correa, I asked you, you talked about the win to reconnect with the fans. So what about today? The fans at the end of the game had their moment to express themselves, but I wanted to hear from you. How do you feel? The players are working to be able to turn things around for Thursday's game, which is one of the most important matches of the season. How are you all working on that? And me?
We know that in terms of results, we are far below expectations. Given the potential of this squad of Flamengo, what Flamengo demands, what the fans expect from us, obviously today there was no other result for us except victory. That's why understanding the moment, it's not a time for celebration, it's not a time to make a lot of noise. Both of them had a more restrained and reflective celebration because that's how it works. We're prepared to go out there on Thursday, get the win, and bring this trophy back to Rio de Janeiro. The fans are within their rights. The fans should demand from us because that's why we're here, to win, to have important performances, because that's how Flamengo works.
Big crazy guy. Thursday, most likely, Lanús will be here at Maracanã, closed, defensive, playing with the result under their arm. We know that Flamengo's fans get anxious when there's this kind of game between you guys, the players. How do you work on that to have the calmness to go after the result and turn it around?
It's a situation that I imagine the vast majority of players have already experienced, if not with Flamengo, then with other teams. Obviously, with Flamengo, it's different. It's a different kind of anxiety, a different motivation to move forward. We have to be smart. We have to be clear-headed. Fans want urgency, attacking play, and goals. As I said, Flamengo belongs to the people. They demand, they pay for tickets, they push us at the airport, in the finals, wherever it is. It's up to us to be clear-headed on the field, to face the match the right way, with defensive vigilance, attacking with safety. And I have absolute confidence that Thursday will be an important night for us.
Danilo, after 8 consecutive games where Flamengo conceded goals, today, even against a team that didn't pose much danger, Flamengo managed to keep a clean sheet. Do you think that your partnership with Vital could influence Felipe Luiz's decision when it comes to choosing which duo will play on Thursday against Lanús?
I don't just see it as a duo. If Felipe wants to mix it up and include one of each, that's fine too. We're all prepared. Our job is to give our best no matter the competition or the situation. Vider is a hard-working, humble kid. He's growing physically very strong, and he can absolutely deliver in this kind of match. It's important to point out that today, like you said, Madureira didn't have many chances, but they did take 2 shots on goal in the second half, one of which Ayrton Lucas defended well. For example, against Botafogo, we only conceded a goal from a corner and had no other issues. Sometimes, instead of focusing on the opponent, we should recognize that Andrew and our team were focused on counter-defense. Take this clean sheet and hold on to it as the situation demands. Good evening.
Good evening. Tonight, you all witnessed the fans at times demanding more, as is their right when they come here, to question some of the performances. You've experienced fans demanding more, but Felipe Luiz has consistently supported you, even mentioning in press conferences that some fans would only appreciate you once you left for Europe, always giving you that support because he knows your daily work. And now this year you are being rewarded for all this work, the work you have been doing at Flamengo, getting a run of games, often being a starter. How do you see yourself at the start of this season, these opportunities you are having, the fight for a starting spot in the midfield? You came back so well from vacation and are also performing well physically.
So, about the fans, we know the weight of this jersey. So, regardless of the circumstances, we always have to go in every game, no matter the opponent, we have to go out there and give our best. And about this run of games I'm having, I'm really happy because I'm a guy who dedicates himself a lot. I'm always looking to improve. I'm always putting in the work to train, to evolve. And I also took good care of myself during the vacation. And I'm very happy to be helping Flamengo. And every opportunity I've been given, I've been able to deliver. And that makes me very happy, thank God.
Good evening, Everton. At the end of the game, the fans shouted that Thursday is war. I wanted to know the expectations, the locker room atmosphere, and if you realize Thursday is like a final with an obligation for you.
So like I said there, we know the importance of the game. For sure, we're going to train focused this week, as always, so that on Thursday we can give our best and, God willing, get the result we want.
I'm talking a little bit about your start. Right at the beginning of the season, you were approached by clubs from Brazil, like Grêmio, and also by European teams. Also, keeping an eye on and monitoring your situation, I wanted to know how you see this moment in your career, especially being closely watched by European teams. And how do you see this opportunity now with the absence of some players, you being a starter more often in Flamengo's team?
Like I said, it's always good to have my work recognized. But I'm very happy here at Flamengo, very happy for the opportunities I've been getting. It's a team close to my heart, so I hope to stay here. I hope to bring a lot of joy to the fans and keep winning titles, God willing.
You guys recognize this place here? The Flamengo players during the FC series arrived there by bus. We never used to come to this side over here. This side was where they stayed and all, right? Some players too, while they were training, they would come out exactly through the door I came from, okay? They were inside here, and we, from the press, we would stay there covering the FC series. In our magical year, we won important titles and all really important ones. And every time Flamengo came to train here in Florida, most of the times Flamengo came, for example, the Florida Cup in 2019, when they came to the United States in 2025 as well. And especially when they trained here, the energy was really good, right? Look, the players too some days would arrive over there and train on this field. Here, sometimes we would stay there, the press, right? And sometimes here at this Osceola Heritage Park, which is Orlando City's training center, and I was here with the youth team staff with my friend here, Tika, the chubby guy. Hey, big guy. Flamengo trained here. This field here is sacred. Every time Flamengo trained here in the United States, and this was one of them, Flamengo had a magical year. I came here to get a little bit of that luck. No, get some luck, take it over there, touch it. Things are a bit weird over there.
Those guys, it's a big club. You face situations like that. The fans, the pressure. Playing for Flamengo comes with pressure.
Do you think there's this thing that when you win the next year, it's hard to have the same hunger? It's hard.
That happened with Fluminense. They won in 2023, in 2024. They fought against relegation. It's pressure and something else. But these guys, when the train gets back on track, because what happens is...
Julio Cesar discussed this, and I'll address his statement.
This happens and doesn't fit. I'm coming back now, but I think when they want to accelerate, they'll continue from where Flamengo stopped. That's my view, since the players are very skilled.
Do you believe in Felipe Luiz's work? Still, I do.
He also showed he's a very serious guy, but he has some convictions.
He's sometimes stubborn, which can be annoying, but it's good.
But it's stubbornness that has already brought...
And he's inexperienced, isn't he?
He's maturing. You're awesome.
Hey, thanks. We're in this together.
I'm a tricolor fan and a fan of this guy.
Ah, but Dica do Gordinho is awesome. Me with the ball, man. We're here with the crew, man. Goalkeeper coach here too. Look, Orlando City taking the tour with us. I'm telling you, I already know. I used to stay here. Look, from here, Gerson here, the Flamengo player. Arrascaeta would walk by. They were practicing inside. I was at the training here. I remember, I was with them there, warming up there, right? Then they'd leave. By the way, what a facility, huh? Congratulations. Your facility here is top-notch, man. Then they'd come out here and all. I used to record here, man. Really awesome. Really awesome. That's it, man. We're here and being treated very well.